Morning, everyone. Hello, hello. It's your boy, it's your man's, asshole retard, libtard, fucking piggy rumors, unshaved white guy talking about black issues. Good morning, everyone. How are you? How's your World War III going so far? Mine is going pretty okay. Don't know if you heard another fucking cataclysmic event hit Puerto Rico. Seen a post on Twitter this morning about like the beginning of 2020 and all the catastrophes and all the shit going on, talking about it being an apocalypse. Made a video about this the other day, and I'm just going to go ahead and reaffirm this. You could look it up and go to the backlog of it. It was like December 15th or December 30th, somewhere around in there. Somewhere toward the end of December last year, I was saying that the year 2020 for me, at least, what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing through other people reflecting it back at me, before leading up to that, was that 2020 is going to be a year of perfect vision, or a year of enlightenment for mankind, a year of evolution for mankind, a year of change for mankind. And I also stated that it's going to be like a new dawn, but I also stated that the night is darkest before the dawn. That's an old quote, what have you. And with that being said, not to discredit the tragedies and things that are going on right now, but it's going to get, I feel, a lot worse before mankind has a dawn and a evolution and a change of mindset worldwide. I think that maybe a new world war is needed. Maybe that it was inevitable. Maybe it was just something that was going to happen eventually, anyways. As long as war still existed, the potential of a world war was always in the cards. And truth be told, that's just human nature. That's just the animal that we are. That's what we are, man. And with that being said, the night is darkest before the dawn. Shit's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. And the only consolation I offered then and I offer to you now is no matter how bad things get, okay, just know that there's going to be another side to this. There's going to be a way for us to fucking get through this as a nation, as a world. We're going to get to the other side of this, and we're going to be a better people for it. Okay? That's another thing that's kind of fucked up if you think about it. I've talked about things like this before, but I just want to bring this up again. That it may be inherent in the human nature to have safeguards, to have checks and balances ingrained in our DNA, to control the population of mankind. And one of the best natural orders of controlling our evolution, our higher eight minds, is us murdering each other. That's literally pretty much has become the only way nature can keep the human population in check. It's tried AIDS, it's tried cancer, it's tried various diseases to wipe out massive portions of our population. And for the most part, we've conquered those things. And now mankind's world's population is growing exponentially. In the next 10 to 15 years, we're looking at being out of space on the planet. That's just how bad it's getting. We've seen weird things happen, like in Japan. I don't know if you ever heard of this, but the procreation rates actually dropped so low. I've talked about this before, excuse me. It dropped so low that they started shutting down schools. And that was a cultural thing because of the way people traditionally would have kids and what time they would have kids and social stigmas on not having children after a certain age, yada yada. But the population decreased so much, the newborn rates, that they started closing schools. Literally, there was whole cities of Japan that just didn't have new kids. They didn't have new children. And their population started to decline. And I was fascinated by that, to be honest with you. That was fucking endlessly intriguing to me that a society can literally, because of social norms, can pretty much breed themselves out of existence. This happened with the Spartans, they believe. I mentioned the Spartan race before, and I was kind of very key on pointing that shit out to people, especially when Spartans became a big, hoorah, Marine kind of meme, as it were. And it's like, well, you do know that most of their population was homosexual because of their warlike race. Inadvertently, they started putting sexually developing males in close proximity to each other, with isolated from females in war camps, and eventually homosexuality became rampant amongst the Spartan population. And their theory was, at the time, granted, to foster these ideals because a man would be more willing to kill for a lover than a friend. Some next level concepts there. But anywho, I digress. I got a lot of artwork to do today. And I had an epiphany last night that I wanted to share with you guys about the whole World War III scenario. In my mind, hearing the Iranian leadership and the Iranian people talk, and it fucks with me to no end, it seems that the Iranian leadership has listened to the concerns of the American citizen more than our own government has at this point. You see what I'm saying? Like, the administration is not hearing the massive outpouring of fucking concern from the American citizen, namely in the regards to Americans abroad. Like, not being able to leave the fucking country for fear that they would, now they may be bullshitting us, but I feel genuine, like, human emotion coming from their leadership and the people who have spoken so far. Not fanaticism and psychobabble like we, people seem to tend to believe. And for the most part, I can't blame people for believing that because, relatively, Iran has not been something that's been on the radar for Americans for a long time. Used to be way back in the day, Iran, like, I guess during the Reagan administration maybe, Iran was like on the TV every day. Iran was built up to be the, fucking Shia or the fucking Hezbollah empire of the fucking Middle East, the fucking devil and all that shit. And there's still a fair amount of us, if not all of us, were alive during that time, growing up in our formative years, hearing this shit about Iran. Like, they were crazy, they have the Ayatollah and blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden in American news media, for the most part, Iran went quiet for a very, 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 very long time. We've heard bits and pieces about it. And of course, you may have heard about, like, several years ago, I watched a documentary that was very fascinating. I suggest you guys check it out. But it was about the Iran nuclear program and the hackers, or the virus that they got to infiltrate and shut down their Iranian nuclear reactors and nuclear program. It was fucking crazy. Essentially what it was a virus that was released, and it went worldwide. Okay? It was spread to emails and fucking systems all across the globe, but it was only targeted for a very specific system. It stayed rotating around the world and being passed around through emails and everything else for fucking God knows how long, looking for the specific Iranian target to find. And it found it eventually and made its way to the nuclear target, okay, or the nuclear warehouse or facilities or whatever, and it completely dismantled it. And they couldn't tell where the virus came from because it had been through so many systems across the world for so long that it was impossible to trace it back to the root source of what country sent it. There was a couple of little clues hidden inside the coding that told them pretty much we were responsible for the attack. Or either that or Israel, I think it was. It's a very, very fucked up thing, man. Like, you don't think about it. But it's like cyber warfare has become the new warfare. I've mentioned this before, but you may want to look into it as well. Like, cyber defense since 9/11 became a very, very, very big priority for America. I don't know if you remember during 9/11, but soon after that, they started talking about basically our infrastructure is not as complicated as you would think. Like, the entire power grid of America goes to maybe one of 4 to 5 central points across the fucking nation. If those central points are somehow compromised through hacker viruses, stuff like that, theoretically, the entire grid of America can go down tomorrow. All that kind of shit, man. Like, and Iranian, Iran has had a penchant or affinity toward cybernetic attacks, cyber warfare. So we'll see what happens. They may be sitting on top of some things they've been holding, as trump cards, no pun intended, for the moment when the world started fucking around or something like that they have yet to implement. So I think as Americans, you should be getting comfortable with the fact of a couple of things happening. First of all, your social services or other things happening like Facebook collapsing, YouTube collapsing, various internet services collapsing just immediately one day. Your power grids going off. That's another thing you need to look out for. Or social service programs like water supplies, stuff like that. They say they're not going to attack the American citizen, but by proxy, that's more or less going to be like keeping true to their word, but not attacking the American citizen. And we still have yet to see what's going to happen. There already are talks. I said this last night, but I'm going to just go ahead and restate this. You got to bear in mind this is a very unique situation to warfare. Our government, there are still people in our government who are looking to quell Trump and stop him short of whatever the hell his plan is or whatever's going on here. There's people in the know. I think that there's people in the know who know what's going on about Putin and Trump, who know what's going on about Russian involvement inside of our democracy, and they're not telling us what's happening because of the fact that they're afraid what the American public's going to do if they find out. And I honestly feel that in my heart of hearts. There's people who know who just aren't saying what happened because you got to think, if Putin's able to do this, that is an inherent flaw in our system and a big fuck up on the part of our government. Why would they admit to that? They're not about admitting to fuck ups, okay? And it shows the weaknesses and frailties of our democratic process, man. You got to understand that if Putin was able to infiltrate, influence, and destroy the root of our democratic process, that is a huge compromise to national security that completely fucked us coming and going. And I still want to reaffirm this real quick too before I leave. Do not trust anything Vladimir Putin says on the face value of shit. Okay? He is an ex-KGB agent who's been trained to manipulate people, lie to people, and psychologically fuck people coming and going. Okay? That is why he has stayed in power. That is why he has been able to accomplish what he's been able to accomplish and still not incur the wrath of the world. You need to realize right now, and I've said this a million times before, but Vladimir Putin is single-handedly the most dangerous goddamn man on the planet right now. And for all we know, this entire fucking scheme worldwide that's been going on, from North Korea to China to fucking Iran to fucking Syria, all this shit has been a grand plan by Vladimir Putin. Because if you look at it, a lot of this shit just doesn't make sense as to why it's happening, the excuses were given, and now we've already heard that the evidence of Soleimani or whatever being tied to these deaths that they claim that he's done against Americans is built on small evidence that they have not provided yet or shown to the rest of the leadership. So I'm just saying. Anyways, I love you guys. Have a great day. Have a great World War III. And, if everything pops off and shit just falls to hell, dude, just remember, we're all fellow Americans. We're all in this together, man. Let's love each other. Let's take care of each other. Let's get back to the root of what made this country, the promise of this country, black, white, and other. We all get together. We sort this shit out, dude. We all get together and we sort it out. The end of civil rights, or the beginning of civil rights and the end of segregation and all these other social movements we've made as a country over the years was not done by our fucking government, people. It was done by us. We made it fucking work. And I've said that before and I'll say it again too. We as American citizens made that shit work. Not the government. Not the government. Okay? So remember that. And I love you guys. You have a great day. I'll see you around. Take care.